Mike Franklin, the property tax guy, and today I'm going to tell you about a small claims court issue I had trying to get paid on a job that I did. I tell you, it just never ends. It never ends. And the this guy, I helped him challenge his assessment, and I got him a reduction of about 150 grand. And and then he doesn't want to pay me, and so he was just making all kinds of excuses, and he wrote me a check for half the amount and said above on the back, paid in full. And I'm sure that he's played that game before. And and to me, he's just a guy who doesn't like paying his bills. But it's also pretty annoying because it's disrespectful to the work that I did for him. He was claiming that he did all the work, which is just ridiculous. So one mistake that I made is that it was a commercial building, and it was in an LLC, and I only had him sign based as as an officer of the LLC. I should have also had him sign personally because it was only he and his wife owned the LLC, so it was just, ultimately, after a year and a half, I finally got paid. Now I have to see if the check's any good. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. But I had to take it to small claims court, and it took a little more than a year to get to the hearing, and then it took 3.5 months to get a decision. And it was just so ridiculous. And I just don't know why a guy like him would think that he could stand up to me in a small claims hearing, because kind of it's what I do for a living, But it's just it'd be just nice if people would pay their bills. And because what should have happened was he should have said thank you and called me with his credit card after he got the decision. That's what he should have done. But instead, I had to spend a year and a half suing in a small claims court. And it really doesn't make much economic sense to chase after somebody for that amount of money. It was like $2,300 or something. I could have been doing other jobs, would have been more economically prudent. But it was just kind of a matter of principle. You just can't have people disrespect you like that. So I had to pursue him. And so we got to the small claims court, and I was very impressed with the judge. He had a lot of credentials, and he had just a lot of experience, and it just seemed to be overkill having him as a judge for such a ridiculous petty case. But it cost me I think $30 to file, I think it was. And so I had to fill out their form and send them whatever, $20-$30, whatever it was. And then you wait, and they actually serve him, so you don't have to serve him yourself. And so the court served him, and he showed up to court. I was kind of surprised, to tell you the truth. And he showed up, and he says, well, I got a $51,000 exemption. And so I felt that should be deducted from the fee that I owed him for getting the assessment reduced. And I'm like, what? Number one, it was not in the agreement that we had that I would get involved in exemptions, because I never get involved in exemptions because they can vary from municipality to municipality. It's impossible for me to keep up with it. I tell people to, if they ask me about that kind of stuff, I tell them to talk to their accountant, or just call the municipality and see if you can get some help from them. It's just not something that I know about, because there's agricultural exemptions, there's business exemptions, there's STAR and all this kind of stuff, and it's just not something I do. So he and I never discussed the exemption. It was never in our agreement involving the exemption. I never discussed it in the Board of Assessment Review hearing. It was something he went and did on his own, and I didn't even know that he was doing it. and he was able to get a $51,000 exemption. And then he thinks that it should be taken out of the assessment reduction I got. So I got a $150,000 assessment reduction, and then he gets another 51 on top of that, and somehow he thinks that should come out of my side. It's like, but to me, that was all just an excuse for trying to get away with not paying me. He probably figured that I wouldn't follow through and go to court. That was probably his technique. But as far as I'm concerned, he's a dirtbag, and he's a deadbeat, and he wasted my time, and it's just the guy's a schmuck, and but there's a lot of people out there doing that. But for 20, 30 bucks, whatever it was a heck of a service that the court provided. Getting the guy served and having somebody qualified to hear the case. And like I said, I was very pleased with the judge. Not just because I won. I was pleased with him whether I won or lost. And I said this to people, before I got the decision, that his demeanor was excellent. He wasn't condescending. He didn't talk down to you. He was patient. He let everybody talk, including the deadbeat. And he allowed us to talk the whole thing out so that he understood it. And basically I demolished the guy because it was ridiculous. So then it took 3.5 months to get the decision. It's supposed to be done in 30 days. So it was just dragged out, something that had already dragged out. And that was kind of agitating me a little bit, but I don't know. They said that his law clerk was out or something. I don't know. But anyway, we got the decision, and I read the decision. It was very thorough, and he excluded the guy personally from responsibility, only the LLC, and which I understand that. And the thing is, I knew better, and that was my fault. But so I figured that the guy wouldn't pay, and that I was going to have to lien his property and maybe force an auction over $2,300. Pretty significant commercial building. And and what I thought he would do is, before I had the opportunity to do that, that he would switch the building into another LLC and just deplete the LLC that I would have to sue to get my money. But a check showed up in the mail, and now I have to see if the check's any good. But it's I just don't know why people can't just honor the agreements that they enter into. And I went there and I met with them. I walked through the building. I came back when one of the deputy assessors walked through the building, and I followed him around and got a feel for what he was doing. I went to the board. I researched the matter. I went to the Board of Assessment Review. I made an argument, and we were successful. And then he tells the judge that he did all the work. It's just unbelievable. But if you've done all the work, why did you bother calling me in the first place? He didn't do all the work. He did do all the work on the exemption because I knew nothing about it. So we got to give him credit for that one. But anyway, I was pleased with the small claims court. It just seemed overkill for the whole thing. But like I said, I read the judge's credentials. He was his name was Judge Thomas, and just a ton of experience. And it just seemed ridiculous that he'd be hearing a case like this. He seems like he should be hearing some larger cases because he's got the experience for it. So I was pleased with him, and the court clerks answered the phone. I was pleased with them, but it just it took 1.5 years, and it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, that's what happens with small claims, and I guess you have to choose who you do business with. Maybe I should have run a credit check on the guy before I worked for him. I guess that's my fault. But anyway, his name is Frank Kunnumpurath. He's got an office building on James Street up towards Thompson Road, and I really don't appreciate the guy. I've been helping people challenge assessments for I believe it's 13 years now, and I've never had anybody not pay me, ever, until this guy. It's never been an issue. People have always been appreciative of what it is that I did. They saw the work that I did for them, and it just never had an issue getting paid until this guy. And so I had to pursue it. So big waste of time, but that's how it goes. This is Mike Franklin, the property tax guy.